welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome back. My name is Stephy Jaynne, and yeah, karibuni. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. It helps grow my channel. Yes, so I am so nervous to be doing this video because it is a very emotional topic. It's a very sensitive, most recent topic, and yeah, I'm a bit nervous, but I really want to do this because it's one experience. It's actually, I think, the hardest experience I've had to go through in my whole life. And if I could use this story to help someone, encourage someone, I will do it, and I'm going to do it. And that's why I am actually doing this, because I'm not about to air my linen out there, just that I want to encourage someone out there. So if you notice, I'm so nervous because I rarely talk about this because it's not easy. It's not, I just want to forget about it at times. But yeah, it's life happens sometimes. Anyway, so where do I start? So yeah, it started with a work trip, guys. I was going for work. I was meant to go from Saturday till Wednesday, or rather till Thursday, because that was like a deadline we had been set for. So yeah, so I left home on Saturday, and that Saturday I remember we normally have monthly fellowship in our family. Like my mom's side, us guys always meet every month. Know what we do, we go to someone's place. Like last month was in my aunt's place, next month will be at another aunt's place. There's a time they came to my place. Like we do that rotation and do fellowship together and just catch up as a family. So that Saturday we were meant to do that, but since I was traveling, we did not go, because I normally go with my daughter, but we did not go. For those who don't know, my daughter is called Hazel. Yeah, so I chilled with her. I wanted to really spend time with her before I left, because I was leaving for a while. So yeah, we had a good time. We had a good day, and then now I had to pack. I'm my last minute person by the way, so I had to pack, and then she packed with me nicely, and then she bid me goodbye. Like, they took me downstairs, they took me to the gate, she told me bye, my cab was waiting, they told me bye, and then she was like, "Mom, and don't forget when you come back, bring me a sweet." She insisted, "Don't forget to bring me a sweet," and she's like, "I love you, mommy," and she's so sweet and she's so adorable. Like, she's amazing. So yeah, we said goodbyes and I left. I was going to Tana River County, so I was passing through Malindi to Tana River then. So I did that. I got to Tana River on Sunday, because it's quite a journey, it's quite a distance. So yeah, Sunday. So Monday I worked vizuri. Then I'll come Tuesday. Tuesday is when now I actually video called her on Monday night. I video call her every time, like every day. Sunday I did. So Monday, when we were doing our night video call, we talked. It was really good. She was like, "Mom, I love you, I miss you." And then yeah, so I slept good. So Tuesday we worked properly. So in the evening, okay, so when I was traveling, I requested my mom to come to my house, that she doesn't live too far from my place. So she just came from work, she just came here and they spent time with my daughter. So she was staying with my daughter and my nanny. So when she comes home from work, she finds her throwing up non-stop and she's wheezing. Like, I can't even, I have a cold, so I might struggle, but she was struggling to breathe. She could tell, and a wheeze. And then also she was throwing up a lot. So we thought maybe, okay, for the reason was that it's so strong, so she thought maybe it's not a serious thing. But yeah, so she said, let me take her to a hospital nearby, because it was at night, and yeah, she just wanted to be sure everything was fine. So yeah, she takes her to a nearby hospital, and the doctor sees her and he's like, "You know what, I'm not actually." He puts her on oxygen first because of the struggling, just to give her more oxygen and help her breathe. So she does that, and then now it happens that and I'm observed. He's like, "Hey, no, I don't think she should be treated in such a hospital. We need to be going to a bigger, better established hospital." So he advises my mom, "You know what, let's," because I stay in Kino. So he advises my mom, "We need to go to Kikuyu Hospital." So my mom is like, "You know what, fine, let me get a car, let's go." So she calls up my cousin. I'm like, "You know what, my auntie, sorry," and she requests my cousin to come. that they can take my baby to hospital, which they do. And on the way, she's just throwing up. So they get to Kiku Hospital, and then where they do some tests. They do an ultrasound, and they find she had rotavirus, which kids get mostly because of, you know, they eat a lot of dirt because of, you know, playing and stuff. So but it was very mild, and then so that was not the cause of the puking, definitely not. So they kept observing her, different tests. So what they would do, they would call me every time she needed to be done for a test. Like if it's an ultrasound, they'll come, like, no, what, send this money, I would send. Then to get her blood drawn, send this money, I would send. Do you need to do this, do you need to do that, I would send money. So I couldn't sleep that night. Now that's Tuesday night, I couldn't sleep because, you know, things were going on, and then they needed money. I had to stay on toes until I knew everything was fine. So so it took at a point she threw up blood. No, that's the next day. So they had to actually admit her and observe her because she couldn't they couldn't let her go like that because she was puking nonstop. But they gave her meds, like they gave her medication to control the throwing up. So the next day, so we slept for the night, and then now the next day in the morning she throws up blood. So that time, okay, so I was done with my section because I was working on Tanariva, so I was coming to Mombasa because we had another team that was in Mombasa. So we decided as a team, let's go help them out. We finished, then we go. So I left Tanariva and came to Malindi, to Mombasa. By the time I was getting to Mombasa, it was Tuesday night. So I slept, like that whole send money thing was happening when I was in Mombasa. So hey, so that Wednesday morning, now we wake up, we're like, let's go work on Mombasa. We finish, we go. Actually, me, I won't even, because we had said we'll stay till evening because we finished early, so we didn't have to stay till Thursday. So that Wednesday, we were like, let's hurry up, and then me, you know, because my kid is sick, me, I'll just go. I'll just take an early, because we were to take an SGR. So let me just book an early one, which we did. So, but now my mom calls me when we are on our way to the office, down in the Mombasa office. So my mom calls me and she's like, you know what? Now I don't need to panic, but she's throwing up blood now. You really need to come. So that freaks me out completely. So what we do, I book a flight immediately. We book a flight. The driver from the Mombasa now takes me to the airport. We rush. I got so lucky because we got a flight. It was a flight that was leaving like the next hour. So it is booking a flight, and I didn't even check in there. I had to rush and checked in like there, like in the airport. So we got into the flight, like it was a hurried thing. We got in the flight and left. Luckily, I was not late. So we got in the flight, we left. But that flight was the longest flight of my life because it took so long. And okay, it was a 45 minutes journey, but it felt like 2-3 hours because, man, I was so tensed. Because being told that your baby is throwing up blood, it means it's very serious, and I got really shaken. But anyway, I got to Nairobi in time, like Vizuri. It was a safe flight. I got to Nairobi, and then I quickly rushed to now Kikuyu Hospital. So before I boarded the flight, I was told that they noticed the doctor called me. Actually, the doctor called me when I landed. Sorry, the doctor called me when I landed, and was like, it was a female. The doctor called me and she was like, so Mama Hazel, so we've noticed that your daughter's intestines have intertwined. So the food that she's taken, it can't pass through. So that's why she's throwing up, and she's really thrown up a lot. And then I think the intertwining of the intestines were causing the bleeding as well. So she needed to be done for an emergency surgery. So they asked me for consent because now they can't wait for me because it's an emergency. They asked for consent. So I gave them, because now if my baby is not doing well, like I just gave them the consent, and they were like, fine, thank you. Then we'll proceed with the procedure. We are prepping for the procedure. So you guys, I got a cab very fast. I was like, oh God, please, I really want to see my baby before she gets into surgery. So yeah, so I got a cab, rushed to Kikuyu Hospital. Thank God I got there before she was taken to surgery. So I saw her. Look guys, my baby was wheezing. My baby was struggling to breathe. You could tell she was weak. She was in so much pain, and she could stay in one place. She wasn't moving much, but she saw me. You could tell. But the moment she saw me, you could tell she tried to be strong. She tried to be happy, but she was struggling, guys. She was in so much, like she was really struggling, and she was very weak. So I stayed with her for just like 5 minutes, and then they came to take her to surgery. So I rolled her through to Kamungiza surgery. And then they began the process. It was only meant to take an hour. So which she did take her now, so that's between 4 to 5:30. I also had her around 6. So she came out. They say the surgery was a success. They were able to put those intestines in the correct position. At least now it's just healing, and then now we see how it goes. But the surgery was a success. So yeah, so we wait. Okay, before you're taken out of theater, you know, they have to wait for you to recover fully. At least they see some responses here and there. Then they, you know, it's safe to take you to the ward. So we did see some. Okay, she didn't. So she tried. At least she opened her eyes, which she did. And then I stayed with her at the surgery waiting area, the recovery area, for some time, for about like almost 2 hours. We waited, and like, let's take her to the ward. So we go to the ward, but she wasn't responding as you'd expect. I'm sure you would. After those 2 hours, she was meant to have woken up, started talking, or at least tried to move around. She wasn't moving. She was just staring. She was just looking in one area. She wasn't moving, guys. So yeah, so we go to the ward, just chill, waiting for her to wake up. God, you guys, I waited for hours. Like, I waited 1 hour, goes the second hour, the third hour, she was not waking up. So so it got to around 11 midnight, and they were like, you guys, she's not, they noticed she's taking too long to recover. Like, it's taking too long. So they started doing some tests, doing some things just to observe, because they had to keep monitoring her now, like close intervals, to make sure she's responding. But every time they would come back, there would be no changes. She took her time to respond. Like, she did not respond for a very long time. Then the times her visitors have gone, I'm alone, guys. She's not responding. I'm seeing just her, she's not moving, she's not doing anything. I make her to. Then luckily the dad came. The dad comes, so we chill, we're just waiting for her to respond. Then it gets to around 3. The doctor comes and he says, you know what, you guys, I don't think now it's not safe for her to be here. She's supposed to be in an ICU. Guys, you hear that, you feel like shutting down. And then the worst thing is, she was in so much pain, guys. That's around 3-4 weeks. She has been, because you know, after surgery, you feel pain. So essentially they give you painkillers to control the pain, because it's crazy after you've just been cut. You know, once I actually got for tummy, so you can imagine she was cut and she's tiny, so spacing again but like, she was cut and it was painful. So you can imagine that time she really needed pain meds. Now, because she was so weak, she was so, at some point her veins shut down, so they couldn't access her veins, so they couldn't inject her pain meds. So she was in so much pain, her body was just there, like it was going through a lot. So so the doctor advises, because Kitchener Hospital doesn't have an ICU, or then they did have, I don't know if they do now, but then they didn't have. So yeah, so he advises, we need to get a hospital now, we need to transfer, we need to do a transfer. So he himself decides, I'm going to, you know, normally nurses do that, so he'll instruct nurses, call these hospitals, let's get her to those receptionist people. He would have requested one of them to get a hospital, but he was so, I could tell he was so shaken, he was so worried. He did it himself. He's like anyway, so he did it himself. He went and started calling hospitals. Every time he would come back, he'd be like, I tried this hospital, they're not picking up. I tried this hospital, they are full. I tried this hospital, they do not have ICU for babies. Machine that could handle a baby, because apparently we get different machines from theirs. We tried another hospital, you know. So he was like he tried every time he would come back, and he would come back very nervous, because he like, we really need to transfer her now. So we got 3, 4, 5. So by 6 he comes back and like, you know what, you guys, let's just get a private, let's just look for it, like, and because now he would call, not even private hospitals, one would ask for 560,000 deposit before we take her, another one 450, another one 300. Like, it was crazy prices, yo. Like, I was like, you people, not so happy 500,000 sahi, you know. It was so intense. Then I decided, because I normally go to Avenue Hospital, so I said, let me just I suggested to him, could you try Avenue Hospital, which he does. So Avenue Hospital say they need a deposit of 200,000. Like, 200,000, it's like the fairest of the ones we've called, Kina Mata, Kina Nani. We've of course Kinagaka. Like, we tried everything by the Nairobi Hospital. We tried. So at least the price that was convenient was 200,000. So I was like, that is at least reasonable a bit. So I started looking for money. We started looking for money, and then by the time it was about, I think 6:30, my mom was already there, because I was the one who could sleep with her. But then the dad came in. Yeah, rights behind. They can deny him to see her. So yeah, so my mom comes and we start looking for money. Then the dog comes again and he's like, oh my god, you guys, we cannot be waiting. We need to move her now. So I tell my mom, you know what, you go with faith. Just go to Avenue, because now I called Avenue Hospital. They called me after the dog called them. And they're like, we have a bed available, we have everything available. You just need to do the deposit and then send someone now to come start the admission process, because there's a process. Otherwise, if we would have gone with her, tungekalisha hapo outpatient until the admission process is done, and then now we are admitted. So my mom goes mbele with a friend of mine, because some people started coming in. My dad was also there. My dad literally sat by her bedside the whole time. He was so shaken. It was like, every time my dad would talk to me, my dad would be like, okay mom, she's in so, like, you could tell she was in so much pain, you guys. So my mom rushed to Avenue Hospital with my friend. They got there, started the admission process. Mind you, had to jafika. But somehow, by the time she got there and got to finance, basically Tosha. So she pays the money, and then now we start planning on the movement. And mind you, we have not paid Kikuyu Hospital a dime. And she had been done for a whole surgery, so you can imagine. So, but my dad went to finance and paid for the ambulance. For some, it's just like, I don't know how, God's grace is so interesting, because my dad just went and paid for the ambulance, and we were they allowed us to go. We hadn't paid anything, but they just let us go. So thank you so much, Kikuyu Hospital, because can you imagine if they told us we cannot leave without paying? And mind you, we've put all our money on the deposit on Avenue, so you can, it would have been a whole thing. But they were so good, they were so nice, they were so worried. So that doctor insisted, I'm taking you guys to Avenue. So he comes in, and he comes with a nurse. We put her on the ambulance, and we went to Avenue. You guys, on the way, and I've never been to inside an ambulance before, and I was there with my 2-year-old, 2.5-year-old, you guys, and I could see her body not move. She couldn't talk. She was just staring in the air. God, she was in so much pain, and then her body was freezing. Like her hands, her feet were super cold. Like you could tell she was dying. Even at some point, I was like, maybe she's dead. It's why not telling me. Maybe she's already gone, because she was so cold. She was so cold. Yeah. Anyway, so we drove to Avenue, thank God, and then we got there. Those people are ready for us. Like we got there, they just took her panda. And then now, okay, because ICU is in the 5th floor of Avenue, so we went to the 5th floor, and because after admissions, like they had her name on the system, it was just setting her up, so we couldn't go in until they set her up. And you guys, she was so cold, she couldn't move, she wasn't seeing results, staring. So we wait now in the waiting area. I'm sorry, we wait in the waiting area, and then they take her in. And then now they set her up and everything, and then now they stay for so many hours. Then eventually they come back. So I'm calling some doctors, and they're like, come with a few people, like, because they allow, I think, like 4 people or 3, I don't remember. But so we went in with my mom and my uncle. So we had an area where a meeting area. So we went there, and now we had to do a whole discussion, because now they've stabilized her and everything. So the first thing they tell us was, oh my God, I'm so sorry. So the first thing they tell us was her heart had stopped. So they were doing resuscitations. Like her heart had stopped. So they told us that her kidneys were failing, her heart was failing, her brain was damaged, like everything was just wrong. And then now they told us how critical she was, how she's in, like, before even getting her, like she came to the hospital when she didn't even have a pulse. Like she was in a very bad state. So she had so what happened is, since now, because she didn't wake up, actually she didn't wake up from the surgery, so she was in so much pain. Through that whole process, she got sepsis. Her body went into septic shock. That's why she was not moving. She was just there. So she was in a coma now. She was in a coma, and then her organs was shutting down. Her sugar level were almost to 0. Like she literally had nothing because now they couldn't feed her fluids. Because she remember she was throwing up before she went into surgery. She went into surgery. She bled everything. Now she didn't have sugars in her blood. Like it was almost zero. Like she was like literally she was going. Anyway, so and then they tell me that one of her lungs had collapsed. They need to do another procedure to kind of deflate it or something. I don't know. But yeah, so she needed to be done for another procedure. But they kept insisting your baby is in critical condition. Yani, they're just preparing you because they know her surviving chance was close to nil. Like close to nil, my people. So yeah, but anyway, she's trying to stabilize her. At least now her heart pumped again, and yeah. So I went in to see her again. Oh my god, her body was so lifeless. Like it was just there. I'm sorry. Like it was just there. She couldn't. Like she had so many machines attached to her. She was only 2. Like she was only 2. Anyway, I'm sorry. But yeah, she had so many machines attached to her. And then now she couldn't move, she couldn't see me, she couldn't talk to me. My baby is very bubbly. Like you will see her in the next videos. You will see her. She is very, very bubbly. She's such a beautiful soul. Anyone who knows, I will tell you, she's such a beautiful soul. Anyway, I don't want to make this video too long, I'm sorry. So yeah, I could see her lifeless body. I was like, oh my god, this is insane, you know. So yeah, anyway, so I stayed with her. They requested people don't normally sleep in the ICU, so but that night I had to stay because now she was being done for a surgery. It will be a procedure, sorry, and it will be done either through the night or early morning. So I had to stay with her, which I did not mind at all because how am I doing my baby like that, you know? And then so yeah, I stayed with her because of consent. I said I needed to sign before she goes in for the procedure, so I stayed with her whole night, just looking at her, you know, just, you know, holding on to hope, just hoping she would recover. Anyway, so yeah, we stayed, and then early morning they came for her. She went for the procedure. Actually, the procedure was done there. Sorry, it was done there. I had just left, but it was done there, and they inflated the lung, only inflate. So yeah, and then it was successful. At least the lung was responding visually, but still needed to be monitored. So yeah, the lung was responding. Yeah, so every day. Okay, so the next day I went. They gave me a place. That's so nice. They gave me a place I could take a shower. My mom brought me some clothes. So yeah, so I stayed with her, trying to talk to her, putting for her some music, the music that she loves. Just waiting for. She was still in a coma. She was still in critical condition. So I remember there's a time the doctors came to see her. Now that is the next day. They come to see her, and then I was told to leave, to step out a bit so they can observe her. So I step out. Hey, but they take too long. When they were doing the observation, they wanted to take it too long because just observing her, monitoring her, seeing how her organs are doing. And then now, mind you, it is the kidney doctor, the surgery doctor, a surgeon to check on the wound, her pediatricians, heart doctor, like they will all go in. So each doctor has to do their observations, and then now they do notes together, discuss, and then now we meet and discuss, and then now they update me on her state. So they were in there. So they took some time. I knew they would take time because they were mainly, but I didn't know it would take that much time because they took like over 2 hours just observing her. Then all of a sudden, the ICU lead nurse comes and with a team, and they come and they tell us, unfortunately, your daughter's, we don't want to scare you or anything, but just to prepare you, your daughter's heart has stopped again. You guys, for her to have even the time to come and tell me my baby's heart has stopped, and then how she's, oh my goodness, like it was so insane. And then the worst thing is that you cannot do anything, like you can't go there and like and give her some oxygen. Like she can't breathe on her own. She wasn't even peeing on her own. Like she had to be given meds for her to pee. She couldn't because her kidneys were they were messed up. And then now the nurse comes and tells me my baby's heart has stopped. I was like, I thought he was, but I thought seeing her lifeless body all the whole day, the whole evening, the whole night, almost the whole morning. oh my goodness, like that was so insane. So anyway, she told us just relax, we'll update you in a few. God, you guys, I stayed in one, and then I was with my mom and my cousin, like I was just crying. You just knew me. I just knew she's going. Like I just knew. I don't know. Like, because she had been through so much pain. Can you imagine? She was from surgery and she had been all night. She didn't get even medication at some point because the veins had collapsed. Because when she had gone to surgery, she had an injection here. So that injection, I think at a point I don't know how they call it. I forget how they called it, but it started swelling, so they had to remove it. So getting another one, they couldn't. Why? Because her veins were collapsing. So getting them was so hard. So can you imagine, she went through so much pain. She comes here, no sugars, everything, potassium levels are very high. She had so much acid, like her acid levels were very high, which is very dangerous because at least your acids and bases, I think they need to be neutral. You remember those acid and bases thing, but now her acid levels are so high, so high. So and so they go back and they stay and they stay and they stay and they stay. Like they stay for so long. I'm like, no, I'm just waiting. I could even prep my brain. I was like, I'm waiting to see her doctors were so nice. Like, especially because the ones who would talk to were the pediatricians. Those ones we talk to every day. So they would tell you now, Vinique, or be point blank, no lying, just bluntly, this is how the situation is. So I waited until now. Eventually they come out and they're like, we need to talk. I'm like, wow. Okay, so we go to the meeting, not even to the baby's room, to the meeting area. So we go there and they tell us, yeah, you've been told her heart has stopped, but we have managed to resuscitate her. This one was long. It took 15 minutes. So ideally, when it takes more than 10 minutes, you know, its chances of coming back is very low, very, very low. She took 15 minutes, guys. 15 minutes they were trying. And way later, some nurse was telling me, like, they tried everything. They tried everything. They even said, like, some of them just started just praying and telling God, oh God, don't let her go, she's so young. And they started praying even the whole process. So I said to Kokonje, we were crying. It was so insane, but at least she came back. But now the kidney was doing worse. The heart was also not doing well. Like, hey, you guys, but they managed to stabilize her. Still monitoring her, but she kept insisting she is in critical condition. She just kept telling me, you know, she's in critical condition, anything can happen, we just be ready for anything. But yeah, so that day went, and yeah, observations, you know, monitoring her. Then the next day came, and then now again an emergency happened. Her heart stopped again, but this time it didn't stop for long. It stopped for a few minutes. I don't remember the last one. I remember the first one was 3 minutes, the second one was 15 minutes, but this one didn't take long. It stopped and then now it pumped again. But now the organs were not doing very well, so she was still in a coma. She was not moving, she was lifeless, you know. But now the beauty with ICU, you have your own nurses. Their ICU, I don't know about others, but I know their ICU, you have your own nurse 24/7. So anything, so that's why you're able to tell if her heart stopped, immediately call the doctors, let's start resuscitating her. So I am so grateful for Avenue for that whole process, you know, just being there when she needed them, you know. Those times she would give up, they would bring her, you know, like her heart would stop, they would bring her back. But hey, he's on fought. Like her heart would stop. See, any mom, I'm coming back. She comes back, and then, you know, like she really fought to stay. She really fought to stay. She really did fight to stay. Like every day we would come and see her, we'd like, God, you know, she's still here. So yeah, and then days progressed. She started doing better. Her kidneys started doing better. Her her lung was doing better. Then we were told her liver has a problem. Then now it's a whole thing. Another doctor comes in to check out the liver. Like, hey, tumemaliza, we come to this. Then we go another day. I remember. Oh yeah, that was it. Okay. So yeah. So things would get better. This one organ would get better, the other one would get worse. So we kept alternating like that. But now eventually things work. She started making good progress. Her kidney started healing. She started peeing on her own. And then slowly one day I come and she's these things, I call it lashes. These lashes that you can that was the first movement she made in days. Like we saw, like she's not moving her eyes, mind you, but we saw some twitching. it gave us hope, guys, because now it meant she's starting to respond, she's starting to come back slowly. So we observed that in the morning. Then by noon, midday, woke up 2, she started moving her legs slowly, and then had to slowly, and then stop. She tried to turn slowly, and then she would stop. Yeah, so she started moving slowly. Then now giving us hope, guys, because we had not seen that. Like even she was still for days. So at least seeing that gave us so much hope. So yeah, and then now slowly by slowly she started moving. Now started to move like the whole hand, the whole body. Now she started turning, and then I could respond. Then now her organs started doing better. Her kidney, her liver. Then as days went by, she didn't need less support. She could now breathe on her own. Ikatolewa. She could now move. She could now, you know, look at you. You could tell, and I move with the room slowly by slowly. And then at a point now she could even cry. But now it's just crying off. I'm not even moving my face like that. Like she can't move her face. But there was some cries and tears. We saw tears in so many days. God. Anyways, I enjoyed seeing tears. Like, you don't like your child crying, but this time I was like, thank you God she's crying, because I know movement was insane. So yeah, anyway, she started doing better. Like things started working. Like our main issue was sepsis, and sepsis was being caused by acid levels being very high and the body going through so much. So they monitor that just to make sure. But she came out of a coma. So now we were in to go to Nangoja to the HDU. Like, you know, if from ICU you don't leave ICU, immediately go to HDU first, and then now you go to the ward. So slowly took her move from ICU to HDU. Then eventually she was responding. She wasn't talking yet, but at least she was responding. She was now moving visually. She could cry. She could, you know, you could tell when she's irritated or something. But she was not laughing yet, but she could cry at least. So yeah. Then now eventually we were taken to the ward because she was ward ready, but she was still feeding through. Oh yeah, I forgot. She was feeding now through the pipes, but it's kind of ICU. But yeah, she was feeding through the pipe, so that was not removed because she was not able to. She couldn't even like move her, like open her mouth to eat or swallow, because yeah, her mouth was always open. I forgot to say that. She wasn't like so she wasn't closing her mouth. So somebody who's like that, who can't do more mouth movement, cannot be fed yet, and is a choke. So she was still feeding through the nose, the pipe now. So yeah, then but now we went to the ward. She was doing so much better, guys, so much better. So I remember we went to the ward on Saturday night, and she did well. Sunday was good. Sunday was really good. Like she was responding so well. Then come Monday morning around 6, I noticed she's breathing weird. Like the breathing is back. So I'm like, she's breathing weird. Even calling us, and I tell her, something's not right. She's not breathing right. Then they put her on oxygen because she actually the oxygen was taken off because first was the life support which was helping her breathe, that was removed, and then now she was put on the mask which helped her breathe, just a small boost to help her breathe better. Then now that was removed also. So the time we were going to the ward, she didn't even have a mask. Like she was good. She didn't need it. She was breathing properly. But now Monday morning she was struggling to breathe again, so they had to put the mask back on. So when her pediatricians were doing the rounds, they came and saw her. They were like, guys, I'm sorry, but she's not doing well. She needs to go back to ICU. My people, that day crushed me. I had seen hope. I had seen now, from what is home, we're going home. She's doing better now. We were now waiting for her to talk, you know, to start moving better, because she was still like in the bed. You know, she was just lying. But at least it was better than staying in a coma, you see. So I was now sure things were good. We're going in the right direction. And then now she tells us we need to go back to ICU. Guys, I was crushed. I was seriously crushed. But yeah, we went back to ICU again, stayed there a couple of days. She went back to the life support machine. Like alirudi uko nyuma kabisa. She went back to using the life support machine again. So yeah, she used it for a couple of days. Then now she didn't need it. She went now back to the oxygen mask. So you guys, my baby had the rotavirus, we were told, but it was mild. Then the intestine thing that she had to be done for surgery, that was caused by an infection. Then now she had sepsis. Sepsis was kind of about from the shock she got from not waking up. So she got an infection in the process, and that infection caused the sepsis. The body went into shock, and that's why she went into a coma. So me Mona is zote, like it's gotten to very worse cases, scenarios, until even her heart stopped. Then now, I mean, Rudy she even started moving and everything, and then every time we're going back to ICU, God. Anyway, so she stayed in ICU for a time. Then Tessa, she started breathing on her own again. I can then get HDU, but her organs were doing good, thank God, because the kidney healed. I was doing in the Peleke ward, the kidneys were good, the lungs were back to normal, the liver was good, the it's called what, the acid levels were low now. I think it's within normal range now, but now by the time we got to approved, the acid levels had shot up again. So it's now ishuke, because now we were not leaving that place until the acid levels like zishuke kabisa, which we did. We stayed there a couple of days in HDU until now it's acid levels ishuke. Like at a point they went down, she was back to normal, and then now everything was doing. Oh yeah, her calcium also went down. Her calcium levels also went down. Magnesium also went down. I didn't even know we had magnesium on us. Like, come on, everything was just everywhere. But anyway, with time she did so well. She was doing so much better. And then went back to the ward after a couple of days. Went back to the ward again, and then she started, now we were making progress. And we went to the ward, and then she started pulling the tubes from the nose, because she actually even in the ICU, even when she was not moving to, like, I want to move to, like, she would pull it, and I tore her, like, she was tired with those, like, she was just tired. Even like she was so tired. And then the worst thing is getting kids veins not easy as us. So every time her injection, and then there's those injections, I don't inject you, I don't even remember, but those injections were vital for her medication, because she was taking different medicine. So she needed an academy that had different pipes to insert different medicines. So finding those kind of veins that is hard. It's very hard. So I remember she actually had to go into theater to get an injection done, because it was becoming hard. She also had to go back to theater because kwa time alikuwa ametoa tube, they had to return it. But when they did, every time they put it hard, the feeding tubes, they have to do an x-ray to see which position vizuri. They go and find it was bent, so they had to go to theater to pull it a bit and go in the right position. Like, she alifanywa to V2, but yeah, when we got to the ward, she pulled it. They're like, you know what, let's and then the beauty is the day before we went to the ward, the speech therapist had come. He ended up to advice now if she's ready to eat or how to feed her. So we tried to feed her. We gave her yogurt, like plain yogurt, and she fed really well. So by the time she was pulling it to our ward, they were like, you know what, after first, let's just see how her feeding goes. And she starts feeding vizuri, like anakula. She took porridge, anakula, but like seriously blended food. She couldn't like take solids, of course. So we didn't put the tube back in. Now she started feeding, but still she was not talking. But at least now she was moving better. Like, movement was very good now. Just that she couldn't sit, she couldn't stand, but at least she was moving. Like kabisa ile hata kabisa. But yeah, so we tried. A couple of days went by, feeding got better. Like, she was doing so much better. She was pooping right. Like, in the ICU, she was just doing dark fluids. You know, when she was pooping, it was not good. By the time we were getting to feeding, she was doing so much. After the time we were leaving ICU, her pooping was like, we left ICU and things were really good. They were like, atochoki hapa until everything is good now. Like, we're not coming back here. When we leave here, we're not coming back. So yeah, every organ was fine. Things were doing so well. And then one morning we were sitting with her, and then I was saying, hi mama. Then she said because now she's not talked for days. And then she had a tube. Remember when in ICU she had a tube, so her vocals were affected. So she said, oh my god, you guys, I almost cried. I even called the nurse and started crying with her, because you guys, she talked, saying hi, but now it was wavy, because now she would say something, anything you would say she would repeat, but now it was so wavy, some words she couldn't come out, and then she wasn't closing her mouth, so some words but she was really trying. Oh my god, that was so, like, it was such a happy moment, because we hadn't had her talk for days, weeks actually. So yeah, she started talking slowly. She'll come in, we say it's mama. But then she's never, before she never used to call, she would call me mommy or mom or Steph or Stephanie. But she's trying to say mama because that was the easiest than mommy, because now she couldn't close her mouth, but she could call me. But daddy was easy. Daddy was easy because like you don't need to close your mouth to say daddy. So yeah, but she would say some words, tunafurahi, yeah, like we'll get happy, sorry, and then yeah, things worked out and she got so much better. We didn't even stay long in the ward because she was doing so much better. She was like, everything was good, her vitals were good. Yeah, so from ICU to a healthy baby. Now I remember the last 2 nights. Now that's when we were doing, because the occupational therapist would come now, because now they needed to strengthen her. Oh, and they did physio every day, physio the chest, and then physio the limbs, because now she was not when I'm trying to gain back her strength so that she can sit and walk and stand and things like that. So when the days went by, she started sitting, started now working with help, now shikila kidogo, and she really loves swinging. That they have in the wards, in the pediatric section, there's like a playground ukondani, so we'd go there, swing. She'd enjoy that. We would also slide and she would laugh. But now she's not making an expression, and she's not making an expression kabisa. So yes, we were just actually the brain doctor, neurologist would come and be like, just give him time, just give her time, just give her time, let's give the brain time and just see how it goes, you know. So every day a new function start working, like I said, the walking, the talking, the feeding, like we would just give it time. But I remember, I forgot to tell you guys, there's a time when the HDU, before we came to the ward, the eye doctor, not the ophthalmologist, came. Ophthalmologist ni macho, I really hope so, and akakuja and akamobserve, akatuambia she's not responding to light, like you see the way she's not responding to lights. Then we were told that she's actually blind, she's not seeing anything, she's not seeing. So actually at times, the last nights in ICU, sorry, she would cry a lot. She would cry a lot because haoni, ask us, we didn't know yet until the ophthalmologist came. She couldn't do an stare, but she wouldn't like look at you like this, like she would stare. So us would like, maybe she didn't feel like staring one place, so she would stay in like some corner there or something. Like she wouldn't like look at you and move with you in the room, because I mean, it was a bit weird. Then now he comes and actually says she's not seeing. That's why now we're wondering why, because actually sometimes she would cry and we're like, oh God, Mama, why are you crying? I wish she would speak and tell us why she's crying. So apparently she's not seeing clearly, like at a light, don't blink, but it's like you fight it, you know. She wouldn't blink, and then light, really strong light, she wouldn't like shake her, she wouldn't blink or anything. So they were like, hey, okay, she's not seeing, but the brain doctor said, let's just give the brain time. So you guys, by the time if I point to, I would see her move with me. I'm like, how are you seeing? How are you moving with me? Like, that was not happening. Then it started happening. Then all of a sudden, because we were in like a private room, so I would open, every time I would go maybe serve something or get some water in the dispenser, I would open the door and I would leave her in a position where I would see her. So maybe make a kitty or something. I remember the day I put her on the seat and then I kept looking at her, and like she kept looking at me and she kept waving, like she could see me. Even I would hide myself and like she would like start looking for me, you know, do like this. I'm like, here, so you can actually see me. So then the doctor comes again and is like, she can see this one, she can see, because even when you do like this, she started saying, like you could see her blink, like it's just game, speech improved. So by the time we're leaving, at least you could communicate visually, and not 100%, because you couldn't close your mouth properly, but at least her words, she would remember things. She would even do sing-alongs, like yeah, she would sing along. So eventually we left, guys. It was so hard, it was so hard, you guys. Anyway, we left hospital, and then oh God, this video is so long. We left hospital, now we started doing therapy. We would go to therapy every week we'd do therapy with the occupational therapist, especially because now she wasn't working 100, okay, she wasn't working 100% like there she's used to. She had like a weird working style, and then also lifestyle, like occupational, like let's make sure all movements are okay, even in the area of surgery, to make sure it's strengthened. Like there's some things we'll do, positions we'll do, and then also we'll see the pediatrician because of her, general observations and things like that. We did that. We did those visits for a while. But last week, was it last week or that one? I think last week. Yeah, last week on Wednesday was our last. We went to see the pediatrician. Pediatrician was like, she's doing good. She even had, very good, she had lost so much weight. Like, my baby was chubby. Then through this whole process, she lost so much weight. So by the time we were going back, they were like, gosh, how you feel? Like, she's so healthy. Her body is back. She's looking good. And then the occupational therapist was like, you know what, you guys don't need to see me again. She's now walking fully on her own. She's running. Her hands were so weak for some, like, her hands really take time to recover. But by the time we were going to the last session, they were strong. She was looking good. And then also she was like, you know what, we don't need to see you again, maybe next year if need be. But she's strong. Just let her do more exercises, let her walk a lot, use the stairs a lot, let her, you know, just be active at her only 100% with time, you know. But she's doing so much that she can even run now. So yeah, like, it has been a whole journey, but God has been so faithful. Guys, you guys, I'm so grateful to both hospitals, both Kikuyu Hospital and Avin Hospital, all staff. Even the cleaners would come and encourage me and tell me how much they were praying for my daughter. I would meet people in the elevator and they'd be like, we are really praying for your daughter. People like, every time when we were admitted, the nurses and doctors from Kikuyu Hospital would call me and be like, how is Hazel doing? How is the progress? Like, they kept asking me till the day she was admitted how she was doing. They made sure they knew her condition, like if she's fine, you know. So yeah, like, I'm so grateful to both hospitals for saving my baby's life. First of all, I'm grateful to God. God has been so merciful that he spared my baby's life. Now she's with me. She's asleep. Oh, she was awake. But you will see in the next video. I will definitely see in the next video. But the main reason I did this video today was to encourage someone. You might be going through so much. Life is hard. You guys, me and a job. I came back to a baby and in a theater. Like, it was insane. Like, it was a 2-year-old. Like, imagine going to the ICU, you meet her. Like, there were old people, you see grown-ups, and then now you see my daughter, who is the only baby there, the only 2-year-old. Can you imagine how insane that was? Anyway, I want to encourage. And then there's another, but I forgot the finances. You guys, the bill was insane. And then before we got, because we had an insurance issue, so before we got the insurance, there's a whole bill we need to pay. We needed to pay cash. We even did a fundraising. I can get everyone who came through for me and us. Thank you. God bless you so much. The president talk as Rudy, because gosh, I don't know, like, only to say this, and you guys helped us a lot. And I know everyone who is watching and helped. May God bless you so very much. And then yeah, we struggled a bit with the last bill, but God came through. God just came through. We paid all of it. And yeah, like, things just worked out. I don't know how, but they did. So I'm very grateful to God for his mercies and grace. I want to thank everyone who stood by me, everyone who came to visit in the hospital, everyone who called to ask how she is, everyone who was concerned, everyone who prayed for her from wherever. Thank you so much. May God bless you so much. My support system, my family, God, may God bless you so much. What I was saying, I want to encourage you today, no matter what you're going through, God will come through for you. Me, I did not know I would find my baby. Like, my baby would be like this year. January, I did not know in September my baby would be in a coma. I had no idea. But somehow God fought for us. God fought for my baby, and she's alive. So whatever you're going through, do not lose hope. Things can be tough. I know life can be so tough. I know life can be so hard. But don't worry, things will work out. God is there for you, and he will make a way where there seems to be no way. Literally, he does make a way. Because I'm like, hey. Then now I see her. Let me tell you, there's times I see her and I'm like, God, I can't believe still that we went through all that. Like, she went through all that. It's insane. And then now, yeah, I just want to encourage you guys. Things will work out. I know things can be insane, but things will work out. The God of Hazel will come through for you. That's all I say. The God of Hazel will come through for you, because he fought for my baby. He came through for my baby. So I don't, it's so long. I don't make it any longer. So yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. God bless you so much. Okay, please subscribe if you haven't. I really want to grow here. I really want to. I know. I believe I have a purpose for this. I know I was meant to do something with this channel. I know great things are coming. Just subscribe if you haven't. And yeah, I feel like there's something I meant to say but I've forgotten. But yeah, just thank you so much for your support, guys. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for everything. And you'll see Hazel in the next video definitely. And Saya Milala. Yeah, and thank you. I'm sorry I cried at some point like this, so this is just it's been insane. But now she's healthy. We had to cut her hair though because in a coma, part of her back hair really fall off, a lot of it. So we just had to cut it. It's still growing. But she's back, she's bubbly, she's healthy, she's spirited, like she's eating well, she looks good, she looks like her old self. She's healthy, she's happy, I'm happy, we're all happy. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next one. Bye.